I make over $50,000 a month as a 25-year-old who works for herself, doesn't have a GED, doesn't have a trust fund, doesn't have wealthy parents who dropped out of high school, and I'm not here to gatekeep or to sell you anything, so let me give you the whole backstory of exactly how I've been able to do this for the last few years while I make my iced coffee. So first, start off with ice because I'm crazy. So a little backstory here. I dropped out of high school, I think legally around like 16 years old. I never finished, I never got my GED. I think I basically like dropped out in like 10th grade. So with that being said, I always had this innate feeling that I was destined for more. I didn't have anybody around me who made a lot of money, but I just knew, I didn't know what vehicle would get me there, but I'd be successful one day. So what I did was I started doing marketing at a local gym here in South Florida. I was working in 2018 for about $12 an hour. I ran their social media, I would film for their classes, etc. My goal and job was to get as many people into their doors as humanly possible, right? So I was making this gym a lot of money, but I was making like $1,200, $1,500 a month. I'd occasionally sell on like Poshmark and Mercari to try to make a little bit more money. But I knew I needed to make more because I'm like, I am in a rut. I need to move out. I need to get an apartment. I can't afford that on my own. My dad paid 1 year basically as child support, so it was cheaper than paying for both my brother and I. So I was like, I need to figure this out. So I always saw this drop shipping stuff, and it's not the scammy drop shipping that you've probably heard of. This is branded drop shipping, which means that you're putting your brand name and logo on the product. Anyways, you guys are here to learn how to make money and how I finish all of this. So what I did was I came across this girl selling women's goods in December of 2020. The video went viral. The video sucked. And I was like, how is this girl going viral? I started looking and she was shipping all these poly mailers out. So I was like, oh my God, these are all her orders. There are people tagging their friends and family in the comments. I'm like, this girl is crushing it. So without any hesitation, I didn't save the video and think about coming back to it and figuring it out. I went, made a logo on Canva. I was like, I'll figure out the rest later. I was reverse searching her images on her website, trying to find suppliers on AliExpress and Alibaba. And what I did was I then went on Instagram and followed all of her followers. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do this right now, but years ago, that's what I did for the gym. I'd see gyms around us in the area. I'd go and message their people to come in for a free day pass. And that's what I did. So I actually started getting a few sales that way, like Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, etc., all the way back in the day. So we're talking like December 2020. Then I was like, holy shit, how do I reach a larger amount of people? But at this point too, I didn't have the money to buy inventory or get influencers. So what I did was I had the packages shipped directly from my supplier to me rather than to the customer. I was also scared that the items would arrive broken. I didn't get to test anything. I just did this without a shadow of a doubt. I didn't think. So what I did was eventually after a few sales, I made a website on Shopify. Now Shopify is essentially the house where you're hosting your products, aka where your rooms are. So I made a website, I bought a domain on GoDaddy.com. Like I said, I made that logo super quickly. Made the website and I had all the products shipped directly to me. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do the traffic for this? How am I gonna get more people? So the people's orders that arrived to my house that were initially from Instagram DMs, I would film an absorbent amount of content. Now it was faceless at the time. You could do this faceless. I do recommend, depending on your product, that you do show your face. But I was filming like 5 to 10 videos with different angles, all over, right? I was trying to get as many pieces of content as humanly possible. To make a long story very short, I did around $2,000 to $2,500-ish in the first month of profit, which was crazy to me because I made $1,200 to $1,500 in the first few months of my business that I was doing at the gym. Like I was paying nothing and I got them so much money. So many members. Anyways, second month, I basically went in to quit my job because I'm like, I just made more in the first month. I'll figure this out, like I need to. I made $10,000 that month in profit. I went on to do $195,000 in my first year in profit. Made $16,000 the year prior. All right. Now you're probably wondering, how do you do this? Little backstory again. Made $600,000 last year. This is just my brand of dropshipping. So I've been doing this for over 5 years now. So this is not a get rich quick overnight, but I do have very good work ethic. So if you're still here, I want you to save this video, but I also want you to think about for a second, product selection. How do you find a product that you're gonna sell? Think about the problems that you go through. Anything that helps with insecurity, sleep apnea, also back pain, neck pain. These are called evergreen problems that are never going away no matter the state of the economy, all right? So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a supplier for these products on AliExpress, Alibaba, CJ Dropshipping, there's a million different platforms. From there, you're going to make your website on Shopify. Get a GoDaddy domain, aka what your business name is gonna be. Get a sample from your supplier. Make sure that the item's good before you start selling it. I recommend not skipping this step because a bad supplier can ruin your entire business. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna make another TikTok account different than the one you're watching on for your business, an Instagram account, Facebook, etc. You are going to direct all that traffic to the product page. Don't link the website in your bio, link it directly to that product page. You wanna give people the least amount of time possible to think about making a decision and just purchase your product. Now, you need to make at least 5 to 10 videos a day. You're probably like, Blake, how do I make videos? Go look at the top performing content for the products that you're selling. Emulate those videos to a T. Study them, watch them. I don't care what you have to do. You are going to put out an absorbed amount of volume that there is no doubt that you won't be successful. Do this for 3 to 6 months. When the item gets ordered, obviously there's a lot more to this, but when the item gets ordered, you're going to contact your supplier. They're going to ship directly to the customer. There's a lot of automated options, but I do recommend you have a close-knit supplier to where you're constantly in contact with them so that they can help you grow your business. Now, if you're like, Blake, how do I get started on this? I have thousands of videos, go through them. And if you need more help, because you're like, hey, I don't want to go through all these videos. I need to be able to just collapse the timeline. I'm not watching 50 hours worth of content. Send me a DM. If there's a way that I can help you, I will try my best. But I definitely recommend that the biggest thing that you take away from this is taking action. Do not overthink this. You can figure it out later. It's okay to suck, but you have to start.